take a bite, and then I want it more. Baby, just take a bite.
Hey, it's Mimah. Welcome back to another episode of Pop Teeth. And if you've ever felt like the internet is stealing your soul one post at a time, then this one's for you. Last week we looked at routines and mental health and how making small shifts in your morning and evening can have a massive impact on your day and therefore on your work and your craft. And I'll be honest, like this week half of the week I've been able to do it, half of the week I haven't. Like it is really interesting how difficult it can be to just do minor little things for yourself every day. The thing I was struggling most with was the nighttime routine, like reading at night. I haven't got a very good light, like a little lamp or anything near my bed where I read, so I'm using that as an excuse where I could just put a light near my bed. And because I haven't been reading at night, I'll just watch TV instead and I'll wake up groggy and then that sets me off. So it's really interesting, like the domino effect that one beneficial thing can have on you. So I know that if I read in the evening and then go straight to sleep, I'll have a better morning and I'll be better set up for the next day. So it's interesting to notice that, and also not be too hard on yourself. Like I haven't beat myself up for that. I've just become aware of what that choice has cost me, and moving forward I'm gonna try my best to make that a consistent thing. So obviously we talked about how routines can support your mental health and how set up you are to work. But then when we look at the work, how does that load affect us too? And one major thing that artists of my generation have to deal with is social media and marketing. And loads of artists don't actually enjoy this process. Some, like lots of people do, in terms of they like being creative on the digital in the digital sphere. They like making the videos, doing the photos, all of that, posting and getting the kicks from all of the numbers and stuff. But personally, I'm not that interested in social media. I'd rather be off of it if I could. I love, like I've said before, dressing up for photo shoots and videos and like interviews and conversation dialogue. But I don't enjoy the pressure to have consistent posting. Like when TikTok first came out, there was just nothing, or when TikTok got big during the pandemic, there was nothing in me that was like, this is really exciting and I really want to utilize this. So how do you work around that if your brain doesn't really care for social media? And then that poses the question, how do you share your work without resenting it or the algorithm? So firstly, I'd like to talk about the pressure to be seen. There is a constant posting pressure related to being an independent artist. Because of social media, you actually get to see how many people in the world are actually musicians, who are actually actors, painters, etc. And that makes industry competition massive and in your face. So there's always this competitive pressure to keep staying relevant and keep staying watched. It's like the biggest currency at the moment is attention, and people are fighting for it. And for me, I think this can take the joy out of making the art. I don't want to spend a lot of time and pressure figuring out what are the trends and using this kind of sound and making reels all the time and like staying glued to my phone and glued to a screen. I just want to make my music or take my photos or do whatever kind of art that I want to produce. And I just want to utilize social media as a platform to share that. And I have this belief that the right people, the art will find the right people that need to receive it. But obviously that thought process doesn't bring in an income necessarily on its own. There can also be this pressure that sometimes the work doesn't feel like it exists until it's online, until it's on the internet or Spotify or a streaming platform. Whereas on my laptop, there's so many beautiful ideas and kind of awful ideas as well. And there's the process of meeting with other artists and collaborating with them. And there is this kind of feeling that unless that's on the internet and people can see it, then it doesn't exist. And that can be heavy. And that just plays into the idea of social media being a validation platform. We put pictures of ourselves online that we think we look good in, We post like our best moments, the holidays, the best family moments, our pets, all of this kind of thing, our achievements, because we like getting the validation from people liking that and supporting that and commenting on that. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we're achieving. So as an artist, that can really mess with your psyche in terms of, I'm not a good artist or I'm not doing good work unless it's up there and people are telling me that it's good. Whereas you could go play a show, and I've had this experience. So I've played a couple shows in America where none of the music was online, and we had full crowds of people really loving the music and enjoying it, and asking where they could see us again. And that makes the art valid. That makes the art still exist. All of that music never made it to an online streaming platform, or hasn't yet. And we'd still have people turning up to our shows and knowing who we were. So I think that just proves that it is important to get out of the mindset that if it's on Spotify, if it's not on Spotify, then it's not important. So let's look at what sharing does to the process. When does sharing online help? I mean, obviously, it's huge community outreach. TikTok is incredible. It's got however billion users, and the chances of someone seeing your video that is over across the world or has never seen it before are really high. Amazing artists like Lola Young really utilize this, and I have a couple of people that I know from university that have just absolutely smashed TikTok and are doing so well and have got a great following and now get to live their dreams, and I think that's incredible. It's also helpful for feedback. I mean, obviously some people are really nasty online, so you have to be very self-aware as to what is a valid criticism or not. But putting it online offers the opportunity for feedback, for people to tell you if they like it, what they did like about it, how it made them feel, and that is great for marketing. And it also just connects you to other people, maybe other artists that you would have never met before. I did a collaboration with a artist who is from Australia because of the internet, because they found me on the internet. And so all of these things are amazing. So I'm not saying don't put yourself out there. I think it's really important to put yourself out there. And if you really enjoy social media, like, by all means, utilize it to as much as you can. It's a brilliant tool. But if you're someone like me who kind of gets burnt out by the idea of using it or pushing it, then I think that dialogue's good to open up as well and figure out a way in which you can enjoy using it. So I like sharing moments from my shows, and I like sharing cool photographs from a shoot I've done, and I love making music videos and sharing all of that. But I don't think I could just post all the time. I'll post when I've actually got things that are going on to talk about. And that's why I wanted to start this podcast as well, because I can talk at length about my ideas and share how I'm feeling without having to drill it all the time. I know that I get my time once a week to kind of check in on where I'm at, record this like 30-minute episode, and hopefully reach some people who are also interested in talking more about it rather than just seeing a picture of me with the like short caption about how my day is going kind of thing. But posting can also, social media can also hurt, even if you're quite a strong person. And on my Mimah Instagram, I follow a lot of cool artists in loads of different mediums, musicians, painters, candlestick makers, dancers, that kind of thing. Sometimes I look at my peers and you get sucked into the numbers and you're like, oh, they're doing so well and they're really consistent with their posting, and then you kind of compare what your pages look like and all that kind of thing. And I have to shut that off really quickly in my brain and be like, don't spend a lot of time on this, just focus on your own path, because they should be celebrated for how well they're doing and they're completely different from you. But if you're not kind of strong-minded in that sense and understand that everyone deserves kind of a seat at the table, then it can be really difficult to see someone doing very well in terms of a following and likes and all the numbers kind of thing. So that can be really painful, and then you kind of get distracted. I think if you start really hammering social media and caring about the numbers and the feedback, then that can become distracting from actually being an artist and making your work. I think also that with the pressure to post, it can make projects premature. There's a pressure to constantly put out, and then in my own experience, the quality of a project can can dampen from that. And what I've learned now is that I'd rather take my time over the music and make that really great before pushing it out and making myself known. The art essentially needs to be mine before it belongs to the world and I get to send it out there. And I look back on some of my music, and again, no hate on myself because I'm learning as I go, but I listen to some of the production or some of the ideas or the lyrics, and I just think that could have had a little more time to become something really, really great rather than just a quick project because I wanted a song out. So now we're going to look at creating boundaries around all of that to protect the work that you make. The boundaries I'm trying to set myself with social media is that I don't want to give in to the pressure or thinking that I'm not doing enough or not working hard enough if I'm not consistent with social media. I'd like to just go with the flow in terms of if I have something to post, I'll share the project. I'll always respond to comments and engage with people who engage with my work, and I will always show up for this podcast, and I've been consistent so far, so I'm really excited about that. But the boundaries I'm setting is that TikTok's not really it for me. I don't want to be sucked into that. If there's something cool, I'll post it, but it's not something that I'm fussed or worried about. What I'm concerned about is engaging with people and actually talking to people and sharing my music with them and hoping that that will help make them feel some type of way. That's what I care about. I also turn my phone off at night now before I go to bed, and it's not the first thing I do in the morning, and that has been the best boundary I've set. It just clears all of the need for it. And so I'm not looking and scrolling at night and first thing in the morning and looking at my own page and going through it. And that is a really great boundary to have, that you're in control of your phone, not that it's in control of you. I think also as an artist, there is a tendency to be quite vulnerable online, especially if you explain what a song is about, or you talk about an experience that you've had, etc. And I think visibility and vulnerability, you have to kind of tread the line in the middle of that for balance in terms of kind of self-preservation whilst also being open and honest. And I think that's a line that most artists tread. I see some artists share so much and then it just leaves them vulnerable to criticism that's not helpful criticism. It allows people to just say whatever they want because people believe they have the permission to do that online. And then on the flip side, you want to be visible, you want to be seen, but yeah, I would say try and keep some of your stuff private. I have my personal Instagram and then I have my music Instagram. Some people just have the one and they kind of blur it into one where they become, the same person they are on and off stage. And I think that's a boundary, again, going back to that I have, is that my personal one is private and I only have people that I genuinely know in real life on there, and then my music one's more open and I don't share as much on my open one as I do on my personal. I think also the visibility, vulnerability thing becomes easier once you start posting with intention. So when I was younger or starting out, I used to just post anything just to get something out there and just be like, oh yeah, she's still there. Whereas now, I actually think about what I'm posting, why I'm posting it. Is it something that I genuinely want to share? Is there a purpose to it? And again, that's now reflective in my work as well. I'm taking time with it. There is no rush. There is no rush with it. Just keep doing it. And just because you're doing it offline doesn't mean it's not valid and it's not happening and it's not real work. And if I post from a place of pressure, then it usually feels wrong and no one's really interested. But if I post from a place of intention, then it usually lands and people get it. And people are engaging with this podcast now because people can actually hear that I'm intentionally talking about things and caring about things, and that reflects back to me, which is really awesome. So as we kind of finish up here today, I just want to reassure other artists and other people that your work is valid even if it's not online. Your work still matters even when it's offline. I'd like you to maybe think about how you handle online and offline life and kind of what boundaries or protections you would consider putting in place for yourself as an artist to prevent burnout, to prevent too much vulnerability, and to prevent kind of your self-esteem dipping and spiking, because that can be really bad for your nervous system. And the next episode, I'm going to be talking about imposter syndrome and your inner critic and how we quieten that and how we listen to that as well. If this hit home, please share with a fellow artist or just keep it for yourself for now. Both are totally valid, and I'll see you on the next one.